Yeah, buddy. What's going on, everybody? It's Childish. We're back at it again. We got ourselves the next critical thinking series. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you are new to the channel, welcome to the channel. Before the Educate and Dominate series was the critical thinking series, talking about my theories and thoughts on the game based on my own knowledge, my experience, just things that I picked up along the way, in addition to the people that have assisted me over the course of my time playing this game. This video is going to be kind of catered to the beginner to mid to late stages, talking about a variety of things. Every so often I get an opportunity to speak with people one-on-one through emails, through Facebook forums and whatnot, and I see a common trend, so I kind of want to get it out there for you guys, and kind of use my own personal experiences to talk about here. The topic of discussion: go will or go home. Okay, what do I mean by that? When we talk about the game, the way how the game has been set up and whatnot, we understand that we're gonna jump into it and climb our way through the scenario dungeon to the Kairos dungeon. Within the Kairos dungeon, we start with that Giants B10, Hall of Magic, Hall of Magic first, right? And then working our way up to the Giants, and then of course the Dragons, and then naturally the Necropolis, And of course, in between there, in between all of those, we get introduced to Trial of Ascension, we get introduced to the PvP world, we got the arena, we got the Guild Wars, now we got the real-time arena. In addition to that, now we got the Rift of Worlds, right? But as you can see, for the people that have been following the game for quite some time, everything it has, you start from the beginning, and work your way on forward. While we can continuously put out content, showcasing you guys how to the best and the fastest way of accelerating your progress so that you can get to that end game, I would be crazy to admit the fact, the thing that you don't want to hear but you need to hear is that the time needs to be put in that A section, in that B section, in the C section, and I'm talking Giants, the Dragons and whatnot, before we can get into that Necropolis. Okay, when we think about the way that a game has been structured, talking about will runes, talking about nemesis runes, okay, some of these top end runes out there are some of the runes that are extremely beneficial for people, but not so much at the beginning stages of the game. I see a lot of people contacting me. I see it on the YouTube. I see it on people contacting me or whatnot, talking about, hey, I'm looking at, want to get your advice on my Necropolis B10. They have me take a look at their account. We take a look at their account, and they tell me about their Dragons B10 run that is still 4.5 minutes. Their Giants B10 run is 2.5 minutes, and they have the units, and they have the runes spread out amongst 55 stars that they got sitting in the monster box to essentially cut their time in half on both runs. And they're concerned about Necropolis B10. Why are they concerned? Because they saw this YouTuber or this person post about it and showed you guys a new exciting way of accelerating your progression. And they showed you this today. What I'm trying to say is that while those things are right, we cannot take away the fact that we have to do the work, do the farming, do the grinding necessary to get the runes that we need to get Necropolis done. When we think about Necropolis, what people have recommended time and again, the strongest runes for this particular level are going to be coming from the Dragons B10, right? The Dragons, excuse me. And so when we think about what we're trying to create here, we cannot create any team. We cannot develop any team. Any recommendation of a team cannot get the job you needed to get done without the runes from the previous stages. And that's kind of how it went, when we first started out too. Dragons B10, before all of us got, really into Dragons B10, we were consistently running, we're getting all these runes and whatnot. We could not clear Dragons B10 without the strongest runes that we developed from the Giants B10, right? And from stemming from the TOA. When we first started clearing TOA, we could not get it done without the fastest Swift sets, without the best Despair sets. At that time, the focus runes, I believe, were in there before it switched over to Dragon 10. Some of the simple, basic rune sets, rune builds, or whatnot that has been available for over 2 years now, still is a tried and true method and should not be overlooked when it comes to creating a team that's going to allow you to clear stuff quickly. Now, of course, if you're a free-to-play player, I can definitely understand that you're limited on your energy or whatnot. So whatever you decide to do, mix and match or whatnot. I get that. But for those people that have saved energy stores or are pay-to-play players, and they're truly looking to accelerate the progression and whatnot, grinding the stuff out, it'd be crazy to not put the emphasis on where it needs to be before trying to get ahead of yourself and create it. So I'm going to use my own personal example as myself. If you have seen me, I want to say over the course of the last 6 months, we've been talking about, I've been making jokes about myself about, I need will runes. I need will runes. I need will runes, right? I need to keep on farming will runes. In my current guild, I'm one of the people that have certain teams offensively as well as defensively that are strong but limited. What does this mean? This means that I need to, when I'm fighting the top 3, top 5 guilds out there, I have about anywhere from 5 to 6 people in any given guild that I essentially can go for. They might be in the +2, +3. They might be in the +1, +0. Generally speaking, they're going to be anywhere in that +2, +1, +0. What that means is that because of myself being so focused on other runes and whatnot, or other things in the game, doing Rift of Rose or whatever whatnot, and staying away from the Necropolis at a time, puts me at a deficit, puts me at a disadvantage. Why? Because if I don't have the runes necessary to compete at the level I need to compete, then that means I am no good, right? While there's a lot of people out there that can break the barrier as far as speed goes, as far as versatility goes, when it comes to all the other rune builds that are allowed or that are given to you from Giants to D10, Dragons to D10, where I'm at in the game, I need variety, and in order for me to, change my, teams in an effort to, be able to attack different people, I need to have certain compositions that are set up based on those will runes, based on those shield runes, in order to get the job done. And so, take it from me, learn from my mistakes. I initially got into the game focused on PvP. Because that's where I grew up in. I grew up in a PvP world, all these different games out there, all focused on PvP, and I try to get into that and get in that hard. And I did not realize at that time how important it is to go from A to Z without skipping any letters, to go step by step by step by step. And again, there's always going to be someone out there that's showing you how to accelerate that progress. But keep in mind, regardless of what things we do to accelerate that progress, we still have to put in the time here. We still have to put in the time there, and we still have to put in the time there. There's nothing more aggravating than to see people get upset at the game at something that they don't have any control over. They're like, I'm not getting the runes. I'm not getting the units. The units will come. The runes will come. But the time has to be spent. All right. And so for some of these people that you see, if you go to the arena, you see the top 100 out there, those people are farming 6 hours a day, 8 hours a day, 12 hours a day. That's not realistic for everybody. But what I'm trying to say is that the work is being put in to get to where they are at today. You can be that too, as long as you prioritize what you're trying to do in an effort to improve the progression at where you're currently at. If you're at the beginning stages of the game and you're starting to get into, a little bit of TOA, and you're starting to do, you finish Giants BT, you start getting into a little bit of that TOA, whatnot. Yes, we need to be focusing on those Giants runes to get those Swift and Despair sets to go ahead and, create that turn denial, so that you can essentially, blow your way through TOA and TOA hard, so on and so forth. And then you're starting to think about that PvP. While you got the glory shop, you got all these things that in the PvP world that you can get points for, put into those towers, and essentially help you in all other aspects. You can't get those points unless you got the runes to put on those units to get you consistent wins to allow you to climb up. Okay, so I just misclicked this here. I know it sounds bad, right? I should just go ahead and let it run out, but I kind of wanted to use my example. Like I said, use my own personal experience. You've been hearing me talking about wheel runes, wheel runes, wheel runes. I've been trying to farm wheel runes, but every once in a while I get low on money, and I go back to dragons, because dragons, everybody can use violent runes, everybody can use revenge runes, and dragons I can clear quicker. So in my eyes, I can farm faster and get that money quicker. We can make an argument about that. However, the fact of the matter is that I am essentially, I don't want to say wasting time, but I'm essentially deviating off of my game plan, what I've set out for me to do, if I'm not farming the necessary components to allow me to achieve what I need to achieve. And as you guys have seen, I've been talking about Guild Wars for quite some time, trying to be at the top of my game, being able to compete with the best of the best day in and day out. And at this point in time, I cannot do that unless I collect the will. So here's an example. I'm guessing, I haven't done the count yet, but if I could make a guess, somewhere in the vicinity of about 55 or so 6 stars, right? And out of those 55 or so 6 stars, only a handful of these units got the wheel runes that I want. Okay, and you'll see right here as I go through it. I do not. I've been farming, right? Off and on. We've been playing the game since July of 2014. Of course, some of these runes haven't been available for that time, but it just kind of goes to show that we're in this, and we're in this for the long haul. If you were to think that this is something that's going to happen overnight, unfortunately, it's not. I got to be real with you. Again, it's not about what you want to hear, but what you need to hear. And it's just one of those things that, over time, you'll definitely get there. You'll get those wheel runes that you need. But until that time, guys, just stay focused. Analyze where you're at in the game. Figure out what you need to prioritize in an effort to improve your progression that much far, and focus on that aspect. While it's all right to provide a little variety so you don't get too tired of the game and whatnot, that's okay. But don't forget the plan. Don't forget the structure of what you're trying to do. And depending on where you're at, that could be beginning stages of the game, get those violent runes, adventures, whatever. That could be end game right now. So for me, that's my thought process. That's where I'm at. Go will or go home. I'm gonna grind that out unless somebody needs a group in R5 or whatever, right? I'm gonna be grinding it out until all the units that I need on will are gonna get the job done. So last but not least, I want to showcase a unit that has been a unit that's been close to me for quite some time. Since I pulled. I mean, obviously you guys are familiar with Chandra. I was always really focused on Chandra for the longest time, and then of course when I got Kumar, I switched over my best runes to that, and I was mentioned in a couple of other videos out there, or other forums out there that had one of the a nice well-built beast monk. And unfortunately, that was then, and this is now, and now it's a work in progress, but it's still coming a long way. Initially I was really focused on the violent revenge because of the Chandra, and then when I moved over to Kumar, stuck with the violent revenge, but realized after meeting with Scott Fetus for the Educate Nominee series that Nemesis might be the better option for me versus revenge. Naturally, will is another option as well, but will in theory was not an option because of the fact that I did not have the runes. I've been talking to you guys about this for quite some time. I'm just not getting the runes. Well, I'm just not getting the runes because I ain't gonna lie to you, I've been trying to get that. I'm trying to get that money as quick as possible, farming dragons. When you get to the point where you're you're sitting here with a 2-minute necro run and a 1-minute dragons run, it kind of motivates you to do dragons. You're like, okay, double the runes, double the time, whatever. But I realize that I need to, I need to obviously keep on getting those violent runes, but take the time to farm those necro runes, even if it does take a little bit longer, because then if I continuously keep on farming other runes and whatnot, I still will not get to where I want to be, right? I can have all the best violent runes, all the best revenge runes, but the fact of the matter is, when we're talking about end game Guild Wars, end game PvP, the element of will runes is going to put a halt on a lot of people's different ways that they look at your team to try to take it down. And so keep that in mind when you're analyzing yourself and trying to figure out what you are trying to do and where you're trying to go in the game. We can make an argument for every type of rune and what's a farm, this and that, whatever. But what matters to you the most at that particular time is what's important. Okay. Let's keep in mind, guys, we got free rune removal coming up here soon. So when we think about that, and we're talking about all these runes that we farmed up along the way, what is your priorities? What is your game plan? What is the outcome that you want to do? If you've seen me in my previous videos, I've stated I am trying to improve my Guild Wars offense and defense teams. How can I improve that? For me, will runes. Okay, go will or go home. So again, guys, thank you guys so much for tuning in for this episode of Critical Thinking. If you like this video, go ahead and smash that like button. And if you haven't already, go ahead and follow me on Facebook or Twitter so I can give you guys some sneak peeks on what's going down next week. That is it. I am done. It's your boy Childish from ChildishPlays checking out. Take care, and we will see you next time, guys. We're out.